Hi, my name is Jimmy Williams with NFL Draft Diamonds, and we are the scouting staff for the Hula Bowl. Today, I have with me one of the athletes who participated in that event this past season. His name is Bryan Hudson. He's an offensive lineman out of Louisville. Nice to have you, sir.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me on.
So yeah, obviously you did well for yourself at U of L, and then previously, of course, you were at Virginia Tech, and then prior to that, you obviously played high school ball in the Kentucky area, as well as a phenomenal track and field athlete. So, Bryan, if you don't mind, introduce yourself and just kind of get us started with this interview.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I'm a Kentucky native. I grew up in Georgetown, Kentucky, which is right outside of Lexington, and went to Scott County High School where I played football and track and field. I threw the shot put and discus there and did pretty well in both. Was also a basketball player up until my about my sophomore year of high school. And then went to college, started off my first 2 years at Virginia Tech, and was obviously an offensive lineman there and was on the track team. And then in 2021, I transferred here to Louisville, and where I played here for 3 years, and was also on the track team here through the shot put and the discus. So, but yeah, so that's that. And then now we're at this point. So.
Bryan, I definitely feel like you're a very unique prospect because, we had mentioned, of course, you and your longstanding experience and really, great results as a track and field athlete. And so, you were all state several times over in high school, in both the shot put and the discus. I don't know if you ran much because I mean, obviously, as a big guy, they expect you to go out there and chuck something as far as you can.
Right.
So, but again, just kind of going back a bit, uh, I said when I looked it up, it was Scott County. Did you call it something else? Your high
No, it
school?
was Scott County.
Okay, so yeah,
Yes,
Scott
Scott County.
County High School there in Georgetown, Kentucky. So take us back to those days, if you don't mind. I mean, I know it's been a while. You've been in college for a bit, but take us back a little bit and share maybe one of your fondest memories.
Yeah, I mean, it was. I have a lot of pride and everything for Scott County High School. The coach Jim McKee is my high school coach, and he's still there today coaching, and so he does a great job with that program. And I don't know, I have a lot of memories of high school of football and track. My senior year we were able to make it to the state championship game where we played Louisville male. A team obviously out of the city of Louisville. So we didn't end up winning, but it was. I remember just that whole week of practice, and to be able to, and at the high school level, to be able to practice on Thanksgiving weekend, and which is the semifinals was always really special thing. But I would just say that week leading up to that state championship game was one of the more memorable, obviously, from just playing in the state championship game. That's always a goal at the high school level, but just being able to be a leader for that team and at a young age, start having to learn how to lead people and how to be kind of in that leadership role on a team that was pretty successful was definitely meaningful for me, and something that I look back on a lot, and it's helped me to this point especially. So no, I can't say enough good things about my time at Scott County High School, and just thankful that I was able to be a part and be able to play for a great coach, great coaching staff, and just obviously still very close with a lot of the players that I played with. So
Cool. And Bryan, I got to talk about the track and field stuff because I feel like that is a big part of who you are.
absolutely.
How did you get started in all that? And just talk about some of your success in general.
Yeah, so I actually started out with track. I was probably 12 maybe years old or so. It was right before I was in fifth grade when I started throwing, and So however old you are at that point. And then, but it was really my oldest sister who got me into throwing. She started throwing actually because she broke her leg. This is kind of a funny story, but she broke her leg when she was in middle school, and she still kind of, after she was recovering from it, she still kind of walked with a little bit of a limp. So my parents had her run track just to try to get that out and help her get back a little bit to where she could run and do everything without a limp. So she started running and didn't like that as much. So she made her way over to the throws field, and she fell in love with it. So she started throwing. And then it was actually at one of her summer meets that in the AAU circuit there in the summer, there my age group was throwing at the meet. And so my parents were just kind of like, hey, do you want to try it out? And I was like, sure. And so my sister taught me a little bit of what she knew and to get me started a little bit. And so I started throwing and had some success with it. And I also fell in love with it. So from then on, from that year, all through middle school, high school, and college, I've been throwing shot in the disc and have been able to have success. I remember I was able to win state in the state of Kentucky um, in total 7 times, 3 in discus and 4 in shot put. And then my junior year, I got second at New Balance National meet in discus and 5th in shot, I believe. And that was my junior year. And then my senior year, I actually ended up, was dealing with an injury. So I was out for my senior year. I ended up having to have knee surgery just for my kneecap. It wasn't an ACL or anything, but still put me out for the majority of the season then. And then made my way to college, and I was fortunate enough to be able to do track and field in college as well. So just a little bit of my time at Louisville here in track, I was able to make the ACC and the regional meet. I was all ACC a few times, and just this last season in 2023, I was able to make it to the national finals in shot put. So I got to go compete in Austin, Texas, over at University of Tennessee. University of Texas. And so I got to compete at the national meet, which was awesome and a really, really cool experience to be one of the top 24 throwers in the country. Where I was honorable mention All-American. So that was a really special time. And my mark last year to get me to that point was like 1904, which is, I believe, 63 feet and some change. I'm not sure exactly, but somewhere around there, maybe 62 high. But anyways, I was able to have some success with it, and it was just overall really, really awesome experience, and obviously has helped me on the football field as well. So I can't say enough about how much I love track and just competing in general. So
Yeah, Bryan, it's very unique to be able to say that you're an all-conference athlete as a thrower in track and field, and an all-conference athlete on the football field. I don't know how many people have been able to say that. I mean, it's definitely something very unique. So, a little different. I mean, whole process, of course, when you're, doing track and field as a thrower versus an offensive lineman. Um, Share just briefly about, what goes into that. Like, what's the biggest difference between you, just training on, throwing versus, being a center or guard?
yeah, I think for both track and field and for being an offensive lineman, from a training aspect, they're pretty similar, I would say. Both have to be obviously very strong, powerful, explosive athletes, be very athletic. And overall, I think, just with track and field, you have to have such great body awareness and body control. You have to, it's very precise with, being very detail oriented in your technique and everything, which again, all of that also applies to being an offensive lineman and just being able to use your leverage and, use the kind of athlete that you are specifically to find a way to be able to perform at a high level. And in track and field, that's throwing a heavy ball a 16-pound ball as far away from you as possible. And on the football field, it's being able to protect quarterback and to move move large people against their will. So both things I love to do, and you know, it's a lot of fun. But I would say that, you know, from just an athletic standpoint, both of them, track and field has complemented football just as much as football's complemented track and field for me. And just being able to develop my footwork, um, you know, pay attention to technique and be very detail oriented in what I do. Both are obviously very different sports, but the principles are the same. And again, just body awareness, control, quickness, explosiveness through the hips, through the body, and everything has been huge for both sports. So they definitely complement each other, and yeah, it's been awesome to be able to do both.
Yeah, and quite honestly, I would say probably one of the I guess main things that's the difference is when you're out there on the football field, it's not just you. You
Right.
have to pay attention to everything else that's going on. So I mean, a whole lot more going on up here, perhaps. Again, other than you going out there and throwing something. So obviously, you're going out there throwing bodies around versus these little metal things. So cool. So let's go ahead and move on. Let's talk some more football. So again, started your days at Virginia Tech and then moved on to Louisville. And I know, of course, you have played both center and guard. Talk about your overall experience on the offensive line.
Yeah, absolutely. So I actually came into college as a tackle. I was a left tackle out of high school at Scott County, and which I feel like most college linemen are. But um, I was a tackle there. Came into Virginia Tech, and I was taking virtually all my reps at tackle my first couple months there through the summer and even into fall camp. And then actually there was our starter that my freshman year, our starting center, just had a couple, just got a little bit dinged up during fall camp. So they basically had a tryout with a couple of freshmen to see who could snap the ball. And so I went out there with them before practice, and obviously I could snap it pretty well. So I think that day or the next practice, at least, I got reps at center with the second group and the third group, which, as a true freshman, that was like the second week of fall camp. So we were just learning the offense and everything. I was brand new to all just college football in general. So that was a little bit of a stressful time, and just, but it was definitely a blessing because it caused me to learn the offense and learn just how to be a college football player a lot faster than I would have if I hadn't been thrown in that situation. So I'm very thankful for that. But yeah, so from then on, I was a center through my freshman year, and then going into my sophomore year, I was bouncing around a little bit at guard, a little bit more than I was center. So I got that versatility at a very early time in college, to be able to play, get a lot of game reps at guard, and then having had center reps my freshman year and a little bit my sophomore year as well. But yeah, just being able to have that versatility and go move across the line was always important to me. I knew that's what would always get me on the field faster. Just being able to know what I'm doing and be just a valuable asset, both in knowing the offense and knowing my assignments to where the coach could trust me, but also having the athletic ability to, go from right guard to left guard or guard to center to guard, was very valuable to me. And I was able to build that at a very early age in college. So it lasted through my time at Louisville, where I came here. My first year here, I was actually mostly a guard. I think I only started one game at center. It was the Clemson game. And every other game, pretty much, I was taking a lot of guard reps. So yeah, it was just very valuable to me, and obviously got me a lot of playing time, just being able to play multiple positions. So
Yeah, I mean, and I think that that's going to help you as you move forward into the professional ranks. I mean, I know you haven't played it in a while, but I mean, in a pinch, I could put you out there at tackle.
right.
So, and certainly some decent size to you. So, I mean, you're not as limited. I mean, what's your current height and weight these days?
I'm they measured me at pro day, I believe, at like 6'4" and 6'8" maybe. just right under 6'5", and then my weight's right around 305 is where I usually am at. Is where I'm at right now, and that's about where I played at last year as well, last season.
Yeah, and I think your arm length was nice. I mean, for a guy playing on the line, I think it's like 33 and some change.
So,
Last time I looked at it. So
yeah,
certainly that doesn't limit you to really any positions on the offensive line, if we're being honest. And all of that again is just going to open up doors for you. All the experience at guard, at center, even at tackle. Because I mean, you need to be a guy who can plug in whenever the opportunity is there for you. So um, cool. So again, played across the offensive line, really at both schools, and so we can't really just limit you to center. Even though I think a lot of people, maybe view you as a center. Heck, even we invited you to the Hula Bowl as a center, but
right,
of course, can play some different positions if asked to. So,
right.
um, talk to me, even more about you as a player. I mean, again, we've talked about, some of the things that really set you apart. What's maybe one of your favorite plays to run, to execute out there, for your teams?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I would say there's several plays obviously that I like. I don't know if there's a one that I don't like to run, but I think I've been my first 2 years here at Louisville. We were pretty much a zone scheme team where we were just inside zone and outside zone primarily, and then obviously drop back pass and pass concepts off of zone scheme. But so I did that pretty much we were just in that type of offense for 2 years here. At Virginia Tech, I was a little bit more of a pro style, and for sure my last year here at Louisville, it was definitely a pro style offense. We were getting under center quite a bit, in the I formation, drop back. Uh, we spread the offense. We did just about everything. It was definitely an NFL style offense. So I was able to definitely experience and be able to adapt to many, many different styles of offense. Um, and so that's been really helpful. But as far as the specific play would go, I would say one of them is outside zone, just because I've had a lot of experience with it. That's what I did, most of the time for 2 straight years. So, and obviously we did it also a little bit this year as well. So, um, I was able to get a lot of experience and get a lot of reps at that. But also, one of my favorite plays, in general of all time is just power, one back power, two back power. I think it's a great play, gap scheme. Um, it's definitely obviously a downhill run. It's a gap scheme. It puts us at an advantage. It gives us angles on the defense, leverage for each block, and also, it gets every gap accounted for to where whatever the defense does, whatever blitz or whatever they want to throw at the offense when we're running that play, there's a way for us to block it up and still have success to get positive yards. So, but yeah, I would say that outside zone and then a power play is two of my favorites.
Gotcha. I mean, I think most of the time when I talk to an offensive lineman and we discuss that, um, it's gonna be a run play only because
Right.
obviously, like you said, I mean, when you're going backwards in pass pro, I mean, you're kind of at a disadvantage, and so like you really want to be able to be the one to be the aggressor, I guess. And so obviously that is it's kind of a normal thing for most people. So.
Right.
Um, a lot of great talent around you, over the years. Had some good guys on the offensive line, beside you, and then of course some quarterbacks that you've worked with as well. Um, when you look at some of those people, who has impressed you the most as your teammates over the years?
That's a really good question. I have been definitely blessed and fortunate to play with a lot of really good players. I know at my time at Virginia Tech, there's several guys that I played with that are currently in the league. Obviously, played with Hendon Hooker, who ended up finishing his time at Tennessee. Played with Christian Darisol, who was first round draft pick to the Minnesota Vikings. Still their starting left tackle, which he's just an athletic, freak. He's extremely talented, and we saw that when at his time at Virginia Tech, obviously. So I was blessed to play with him. And there's several guys, too many for me to name, to be honest with you. And then my time at Louisville, Just talking about past players for a second. I obviously was the center for Malik Cunningham, who's currently with the Baltimore Ravens, I believe, still backing up for Lamar. So that's pretty special for him. He was a fantastic player, great quarterback. And then just some players off this past year's team: Jordan, Isaac Grindo, um, Jarvis Brownlee. We had a lot of really talented players. Willie Tyler, Eric Miller on the O line were two transfers that came in with us last year that came in for us last year that made a big impact and are very good players as well. So yeah, I've been fortunate to play with a lot of really good players that those are just the few that I would say that I would name just off the top of my head that really impressed me and that I just think have the total package off the field and on the field. They are students of the game. They do it the right way. Jack Plummer's another one of just guys that are ball players, but they're good people and they're students of the game for the most part, which is what you got to be, especially at the next level to succeed and set yourself apart. So, but yeah, a lot of really good talented players that I've been able to step on the field with.
Yeah, I mean, it's been fun watching Louisville over the past couple seasons. And, again, our scouts had, obviously been, trying to find guys to invite to our game. And so we, over the past few years, man, like we've always, I think we've always, brought in a guy from Louisville if I'm, correct. But
Yeah,
as we're scouting you, some of the things that were said, powerful build, good run blocker, who's solid in pass pro, displays good physical toughness, and shows consistency in finishing blocks. So obviously, our scouts loved you enough to be able to, hey, invite you down to the Hula Bowl where you can showcase your talent with a couple teammates. I mean, so
yeah.
um, go ahead and talk about your time during the Hula Bowl and anything that you have to say about that week, any sort of highlight.
Yeah, my time at the Hula Bowl was a great experience. Obviously, just being able to be around a lot of really, really great players and prospects, from around the country was an awesome time. And being able to experience that with a couple players that I've, from my team in Jack and in Storm Duck, um, was an awesome experience. It was really cool to be able to snap to Jack and be in that setting with him. Obviously we had great chemistry together and a good bond and stuff like that. But yeah, I had a really, really awesome time at the Hula Bowl. I think it was set up really well. Loved how just the practices and games were ran. But I would say a highlight is just the coaching staff that you all had at the Hula Bowl. It was, I think, second to none. Just across the board, legendary coaches. I can speak for the coach that I had, Coach Warhop, who was our line coach, who has been an NFL coach for a long time. I believe he still may be in the NFL. I know he was in the last couple of years, but he had a lot of experience, obviously, and a lot of knowledge. And just, I can't speak highly enough of him, as well as the other coaching staff, but especially him since he was my coach. Just how much he helped us and how much he taught us, and just being able to pick his brain and have him tweak parts of my game that will help me at this next level and help me make a team, but also help me be able to stay in the league once I get there was unbelievable. And I still, obviously go back to things that he told me and taught us as an O-line room through this whole process. And I know I will for the rest of my time. So I would say one of the big highlights for me was just being able to be around that coaching staff, and which was over 100 years of experience, NFL experience total, probably a lot more than that. But yeah, just being able to be around those guys and be coached by them for a week was awesome.
Cool. And again, during your time there, obviously, in addition to your pro day, you had an opportunity to interact with, NFL scouts, have interviews. How has all that process been for you lately, man? I mean, obviously, the whole idea of actually sitting down and talking to an NFL person is a little bit of a shocker for most people. I mean, some people it's surreal, but how's that been for you overall?
Yeah, it's been awesome. It was a good experience. I'm glad that I was able to start that at the Hula Bowl and obviously talk to a lot of different scouts there and have many different interviews. So being able to do that right after the season and you know, get that process going then was really awesome and taught me a lot about just the process, taught me a lot about myself, to be honest, just being able to, answer questions and present myself to those scouts to where um, just to be able to portray everything about me that they want to know. Um, so that was a really good experience, and since then it's been nothing but the same. Just an awesome time being able to, talk to scouts, talk to O line coaches, and just have conversations over the phone that I've had several over the past couple weeks, um, which has been going great. And so yeah, I think but definitely my time at the Hula Bowl and being able to do that there set me up for success because I knew was able to experience that and kind of know because all of us obviously none of us have gone through this process before, so being able to start that off and learn in a setting like that was definitely very helpful and helped me with the phone calls now and everything that's to come. So um, yeah, it's been a really good experience and being able to talk to a lot of coaches. So um, just to start those relationships at the Hula Bowl in January was very important.
Cool. Well, Bryan, obviously you have a lot going on. I mean, I know you've been, obviously working out, keeping yourself, right and being ready whenever, you do get that phone call. You're obviously going to get an opportunity at the next level in some way, shape, or fashion, and could legitimately be drafted. We need to keep our hopes up in that regard. So,
Absolutely.
um, you know, as all of this stuff, is happening over the next few days, man. I just want to wish you all the best. I mean, I know it's not always easy and clear cut and everything. And oh, I'm just gonna go sign with my favorite team. I mean, it's not like a video game where you can do that. Yeah, I'm just gonna put myself on, this team. But
Right.
um, uh, Bryan, as we do close up our time, just want to give you one last chance to talk to maybe anybody else that you haven't talked to and tell them why you do need to be drafted. So go ahead and close us with your pitch.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think just me as a player, what I bring is for the first thing consistency. I've been able to stay on the field all through my time in college and battle through injuries and everything to still play at a high level and just find a way to be on the field and to prepare for a game. No matter what injury or bangs, bumps, or bruises that have happened. So I've been able to be consistent and stay on the field, but also just to be that valuable asset and anchor to the O line to where obviously I have experience at center, just being a vocal leader, which I've grown in a lot in the past few years of my time in college. But for me, I just bring just a consistent, durable, and valuable asset, but also one of toughness. I would say a nasty finisher that just takes pride in every play and what I do in my work and on a daily basis, not just on game day, but every day through practice. Just somebody that grinds through and does everything that I can to help my team, my offense, be the best offense, be the best team in the league, and win games. And ultimately, in college, make it to conference championships and bowl games and the national championship, and then obviously in the next level, it'll be a Super Bowl. So, um, but yeah, biggest thing is just consistency. I've been able to stay on the field and play at a high level and find ways to win, find ways to be a leader, and but yeah, just being a valuable asset in any way that I can to help my team win and be the best they can be.
Yeah, I mean, and you're going to be available, and I think that that's the biggest thing is like, whether a team wants a center or a guard, that's what they're getting in you. You're getting a guy who can step in immediately and, make an impact. Obviously, quality leader, good guy on and off the field. So we don't have to worry about that sort of thing. He's got a good head on his shoulders too. So, but Bryan, I mean, I know again, strong physical guy who obviously has all of the checks all the boxes essentially is basically what I'm trying to say. So, um, again, want to wish you all the best in what you got going on. And you represent the Hula Bowl well, man. So you take care, all right?
Yes, sir. I really appreciate that. I appreciate your time and obviously appreciate you having me at the Hula Bowl. It was a great experience. But thank you so much.
Sure. Once again, I got with me Bryan Hudson. He's offensive lineman out of Louisville. Check him out. He's going to be in the league very soon. Take care.
Sure.